What do you want? What do you still want at this point in your career?
I mean, I want to fight for the belt, obviously. It's a much different matchup than I just had. They tried to give me a donut. I took a bite, but I gotta get back to running if I'm gonna fight Makhachev.
I mean, what's he ranked right now? 4th or something, right?
3rd.
Yeah, 3rd. There you go. He's still the number 3 ranked guy in the world. So the odds of him getting a title shot are pretty good.
You talked about Gaethje and the potential title shot. How would you guys ultimately make the decision on who's next for Islam?
Yeah, well, you guys know there's a lot of different,
Islam Makhachev is the lightweight king, but the question is, who gets the next shot at him? Justin Gaethje is ready, Ilia Topuria is calling him out, and the lightweight division is on fire. The UFC lightweight division is heating up as multiple contenders set their sights on the reigning champion, Islam Makhachev. Justin Gaethje, fresh off an impressive victory, is demanding his shot at the title. Meanwhile, featherweight champion Ilia Topuria is eager to move up and challenge Makhachev, claiming he can take him out with ease. But who really deserves the opportunity, and how would these matchups play out inside the octagon?
What's the issue with Islam?
I don't have anything personal with him. He's the world champion in the lightweight division. I want to move up the lightweight division. I want to face him. It's easier for me to weight cut. I already did it. I already fought at 155 in London against Jai Herbert. I want to do it once again for the world title.
You said that you're ready to go up a division. There's a tweet from Ilia Topuria that he can go up the weight and he can beat you with no problem. What do you think about that?
Before we break it all down, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any fight analysis and UFC updates. Now let's dive into this explosive situation. Justin Gaethje isn't one to talk just for the sake of it. When he calls for a fight, he means business. And right now, his focus is locked on one thing, a shot at the UFC lightweight title. Fresh off his last victory, Gaethje didn't hesitate when asked what's next for him.
What do you want? What do you still want at this point in your career?
I mean, I want to fight for the belt, obviously. It's a much different matchup than I just had. They tried to give me a donut. I took a bite, but I gotta get back to running if I'm gonna fight Makhachev.
He knows exactly what's at stake. This isn't just another fight. This is a chance to prove he's the best lightweight in the world. But getting past Islam Makhachev is no easy task. Gaethje's known for his devastating leg kicks, insane knockout power, and relentless pressure. But against a fighter like Makhachev, he can't rely on just those weapons. He needs the perfect game plan, and he's aware of that. He's already talking about making the right adjustments, getting his jiu-jitsu coach involved, and preparing for the toughest challenge of his career. Right now, he's sitting at number 3 in the lightweight rankings, which means a title shot is well within reach. But the problem, he's not the only one calling for it. With Ilia Topuria and others making their case, Gaethje has to make sure he leaves no doubt that he's next in line. Justin Gaethje isn't the only one eyeing a fight with Islam Makhachev. Ilia Topuria is making it known that he's ready to move up and take on the lightweight champ. And he's not just asking for the fight, he's calling his shot with full confidence. Topuria has already fought at 155 pounds before, and he's convinced that moving up again won't be a problem. In fact, he sees Makhachev as an easy target.
What's the issue with Islam?
I don't have anything personal with him. He's the world champion in the lightweight division. I want to move up the lightweight division. I want to face him. It's easier for me to weight cut. I already did it. I already fought at 155 in London against Jai Herbert. I want to do it once again for the world title.
Topuria isn't just talking, he's backing it up with his performances. He's undefeated, dominant, and riding a wave of momentum that has him looking like one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC. But here's the real question. Does the UFC see him as a legitimate threat to Makhachev, or is his call out just hype for now? One thing's for sure, if Topuria gets the chance, he's not showing up just to make an appearance. He believes he's got the skills to dethrone Makhachev, and he's ready to prove it. Now, let's talk about how Justin Gaethje matches up against Islam Makhachev. On paper, it's a classic striker versus grappler battle, but there's a lot more to it than that. Gaethje is known for his brutal leg kicks, knockout power, and relentless forward pressure. If he can keep the fight standing and maintain the right distance, he could cause serious problems for Makhachev.
Stylistically, I think it's very different. Makhachev is southpaw, and that makes it a little bit harder sometimes to get takedowns, and he does like to strike more. It would be a really interesting fight to see between him and Justin. If Justin can keep the proper distance, I think he could definitely cause some damage, especially with his leg kicks.
Former UFC contender Beneil Dariush agrees, saying Gaethje's kicks could be a game changer. If Justin can keep the proper distance, he could definitely cause some damage, especially with his leg kicks. But there's a major issue. Gaethje struggles to throw those kicks when he's under pressure. Khabib exposed this when he forced Gaethje to fight moving backward, and Makhachev uses a similar strategy, just in a more methodical way. Instead of rushing forward like Khabib, Islam cuts off the cage with counters and fakes, making it even harder for opponents to get their shots off. And then there's the ground game. Makhachev's grappling is on another level, and many believe his submission skills are even better than Khabib's. That spells trouble for Gaethje, who struggled in the past when fights hit the mat.
Something you have to understand, when you pressure Justin, it's a lot harder for him to throw those leg kicks. Khabib kind of runs forward at you, while Makhachev slowly cuts the cage off with fakes and step by step, counters. He moves you back towards the wall. So it definitely is a different fight. It's not going to be exactly the same fight. But as far as submission goes, you could definitely say Makhachev has even better submissions. He goes for more submissions. So I think it would be it would definitely be a tough fight for Justin.
Coach Javier Mendez, the mastermind behind Khabib Nurmagomedov and Islam Makhachev, sees a clear difference between the two fighters. While Khabib dominated with relentless pressure and smothering grappling, Makhachev brings a more well-rounded skill set to the table.
It definitely, in my opinion, would play out differently because they're not the same fighter. They're not the same fighter. Islam is more well-rounded than Khabib ever was. So Islam is at the point where he's pound for pound number one because he's well-rounded in all the areas. Khabib was not as well-rounded as Islam is in the striking. His attributes was the ground and the submission and how he can smother you and just make you feel like you're trapped and you can never get out.
Mendez believes Makhachev's ability to mix striking and grappling makes him even more dangerous than his predecessor. He doesn't just rely on wrestling. He can stand and trade, counter his opponent's attacks, and still dominate on the ground when needed. Gaethje might have had some hope against Khabib in the striking department, but against Makhachev, it's a different story. Islam has a tighter defense, better shot selection, and the ability to stay composed under pressure.
In Islam, he can do it all. He can stand with him. He can take him down. He can do anything, and before anybody starts thinking about, he's the Division I wrestler, this and that. But hey, he was a Division I wrestler that was wrestling with Jordan Burroughs, and that didn't help him with Khabib. So trust me, when you're talking MMA, there's a difference between just wrestling and MMA wrestling. Khabib was the master, second to none on MMA wrestling. In Islam, I'm going to say it's a close second. But they're different, but he's a close second one.
That's all for today's breakdown of this rivalry. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time with more MMA content.